calling all members of the in crowd. If you want to get in on the action, we want to hear from you. Hit us up, faderoutemail@gmail.com, or slide in our DMs on IG at FadeRoutePodcast, or drop us a line on X at FadeRouteDNZ. You can find us on Facebook, The Fade Route with DNZ. We're on Spreaker. We're on YouTube, The Fade Route with DNZ. Catch our videos. Like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, and spread the word. Coming at you from the Hey Yo Studios, it's the Fade Route with DNZ. Here are your hosts, D and Z.
Coming at you live from the Ayo Studio.
Ayo.
It's the Fade Route with D and Z. I am D. We've got a great show for you tonight.
Always.
The Oilers and the Panthers advance to the Stanley Cup Finals. Blake Snell is headed to the IL. And Stan Van Gundy thinks the Mavericks have the best backcourt in NBA history. But we begin today's show with, I guess we have to talk about the Rangers. Florida Panthers won Game 5 in Madison Square Garden. Then they locked the Rangers down with a 2-1 victory in Game 6. We can talk all day how Fox had no goals, Mika was overpowered, and how Panarin just never showed up. But are we overlooking the fact that the Panthers were the better team and they wanted it more? Z.
There's a reason why those guys never got out of the starting blocks. And it's because of the Florida Panthers.
Barkov, man.
Plain and
Barkov.
Well, no. Let's be real here. Barkov had 2 points in the entire series. 2. That's it. 2. I don't want to hear about Barkov. He was Bobby Holik. Like, that was his job, and he played it very well. His job, he went in to be a defensive stopper. He shut down Zibanejad. He shut down Kreider. He did what he was supposed to do. Like, he was the guy. He was the muscle. Kachuk was the muscle.
Well, that's what I mean. He was the difference in the series.
No, he wasn't the difference in the series.
You don't think so?
Nope. The two Sams, Reinhart and Bennett, combined for 6 goals. 6 goals.
Well, they did all the scoring, but as far as like just suffocating and just being a nuisance and just being on top of everybody.
You can't point to anybody on the Florida Panthers in particular because they all do it.
Yeah.
Verhaeghe's in, Reinhardt's in, Kachuk is in. Their fourth line actually plays.
Yeah.
The loss of Jimmy Vesey in Game 1 was a blow to the Rangers because now you're on your heels. Now you're playing Brodzinski in a winner go home game. Now Johnny Brodzinski was a non-factor, as was Matt Rempe.
Yeah.
You're rolling. You're dressing 12 forwards. You're rolling 10. That's it. Like, come on now. Now, up and down the Florida Panther roster, they have formidable players. The Rangers too had formidable players. Going into our preview for this series, it looked even, and it should have been even. Because if you think about this, get this. Which team do you think led the series in hits?
No way. The Rangers?
The Rangers. The New York Rangers led the series in hits. So, let's be real here. The physical play, it was flashier for the Panthers. It was more consistent from the Rangers. The Panthers lived in the Ranger zone, forced them to make those stupid, soft exit passes. What did we say at your birthday party on Saturday? Happy belated birthday again. What did we say? How do you beat that? You beat it with hard passes. And you don't pass through the middle. And lo and behold, what does Jacob fucking Trouba do that leads to the first goal and ultimately like kills the momentum that you had and put Florida out in front? fucking pass through the middle, turnover. I don't know where the hell he was going. He played the man who didn't have the puck. He played the man next to the man with the puck. Like, Jacob Trouba, for all the good that he does, right? The Trouba train, the physicality, the grit, the toughness, all that stuff. You said you were going to be knocking some teeth out. Was it your own? Like, that's my question. Because you didn't. You showed up soft in game 6. You showed up soft in a closeout game. But the Rangers had more hits. The Panthers lived. They set up shop. They set up camp in the Rangers' offensive zone. They could not get out. And they play a tight box in front of Bobrovsky. Kreider's not getting in there. Zibanejad's not getting in there because they don't want to. They want to play east-west. They don't want to play north-south. And that's going to be a problem for Edmonton. Edmonton plays a very good east-west game. Panthers are going to eat that shit alive. They're going to eat it alive because we've seen it. The Rangers and the Oilers play a very similar game in that regard. The Panthers eat that shit for breakfast. And we've seen it. So they
for breakfast.
They're Shooter McGavin. Yes. But ultimately, where do the Rangers go from here is the question. You have buyout options. Do you trade some of these guys? A lot of them have no movement clauses. So you're kind of stuck with some of these guys. Now, do you buy out Trouba? I don't know if you go that far. I don't know if you go that far. I think you get another impact defenseman and you phase him down the pecking order. Jacob Trouba is still an effective defenseman. I don't know if he's a one pair. Like, Brady Shea is a free agent. Brett Pesce is a free agent. You can go get those guys, and they're number ones. Like, at this point, with the age and the tread on the tire for Jacob Trouba, I think he's better served as a 3-pair. Right? You get rid of Gustafsson. That's fine. I mean, I'm fine with that. You keep Trouba. You let Gustafsson go. His soft ass penalty should have been a 5-on-3. Ended up being a 5-on-4.
Yes.
Because you do send a message. I agree you send a message. The message had already been sent.
Yeah.
It was Antonio Pierce. Antonio Pierce was known for the late hit.
You pounded on him while he was on the ground. You knocked him down. It should have been a wrap right there.
Right. It was already done. The message was already sent. So that was, a bridge too far. I know that Barclay Goodrow is a topic of conversation. He showed up in these playoffs. I think he stays. You need an impact right winger. They're floating around Brady Tkachuk. Why would the Senators trade him? They're rebuilding. They have him and Chychrun. They have, good quality players in that regard. I don't see them moving a guy the caliber of Brady Tkachuk, but they do need guys that are gritty, that can score. But you need both. You need both. And that's what the Panthers exposed, is that the top echelon Ranger players, when push came to shove, when you gave them the lumber, they didn't want any of it.
Yeah, I mean, the top power play line all season was Kreider, Zibanejad, Trocheck, Panarin, Adam Fox, and they were 1 for 15 against the Panthers, 2 for 25 on the power play their last 9 games. I mean,
atrocious, but you have to credit the Panthers to that.
Yeah, we do. Some notes I wrote down here. I mean, you say, where do we go from here? I think Shesterkin was the best player out there in a Ranger jersey during this series. He needs to be extended. He needs a new contract. If they're keeping Mika and Kreider on the same line, then the Rangers need to find a better right winger, right? Would you agree with me on that?
I agree. Kakko's not the answer.
They're just not playing well together. They're just not. And you know what? I'm for trading Kakko, man, because 2019 second pick overall. He's at the end of his second year. He's in year 2 of his contract, which he's played was worse than the first one. Like, I think
he's going into his 5th year in the NHL.
Right, but I'm saying this particular contract, this is the second year of that contract, and it was worse than the first year. Like, dude, it's just, I'm done with Trouba as a captain. I'm done with Miller, who seems to always commit penalties at the worst time. We gotta find better ways to play together here. I'm not a fan of what I'm seeing. I mean, would you say the top full line was probably Trocheck, Panarin, Lafreniere? Would you say that was probably their best line?
Alexis Lafreniere was the coming of age story of the playoffs, and I think that's your top line moving forward. I think you have to, because you know what, you say Panarin didn't show up. Yes, Panarin, the goals were in garbage time, but he put points on the board. Mika Zibanejad did not. So that's something to be said. Now, because and this goes to Laviolette too. Like, Peter Laviolette did not crack the code until there was 8 seconds left in the game. Buzz in front, flash in front of Bobrovsky, throw the puck at the fucking net. Maybe you get a deflection. Yes,
and we probably could give him a break, right? Because this was his first year with this group, right?
Oh yeah, no, Laviolette gets a pass here. No, absolutely.
You're right.
But you know what, Gerard Gallant, Gerard Gallant didn't really he didn't really deserve to get fired. That's why we were all very surprised that Gallant got fired.
Yeah.
Yes, he didn't. He didn't adjust, but neither did Laviolette. What was he doing? Come on,
Adam Fox. I was waiting to find out if Adam Fox was hurt, and he fucking didn't say anything about that. So I guess he just had a bad series.
Fox, Lindgren, and
Trouba telling people he had a fucking broken ankle. I don't give a fuck about that now. Why are you talking about that right now?
That report was actually deleted from SNY, the SNY account. So they're making their way into alleged superstar territory with some yellow journalism there. That seems to be a little bit of a problem. But the defensive core needs to be upgraded. I think the defensive system, the defensive system that Phil Housley is running, needs to change, because you can't hang Shesterkin out to dry.
Let's be real. I mean, they're really only got by the Hurricanes because of a hat trick by Kreider in Game 6, right? I mean, if not, that series is going 7 because they played flat for 2 periods. And who knows what happens in Madison Square Garden? They probably get bounced out by the Hurricanes. So, I think it was, as much as they had a great regular season, right? And as much as we can agree that Lafreniere is probably a top 6 winger, right? He's a big time player. He's a superstar in the making. Yeah. They overperformed what they were capable of. And when push came to shove, when they faced some teams that wanted the cup, they got taken down.
Well, this is it. Here we go. How many NHL pundits picked the Rangers to get this far? One. One.
Oh, really?
Yes, one. Now, as far as division, I think 2 people had them winning the division. Nobody had them winning the President's Trophy. One person had them in the Stanley Cup Finals, losing to the Kings, mind you. So they outkicked their coverage this year. This is the 2015 Mets. They got farther than they were supposed to. That's what they are.
Oh, who's the 2024 Mets? I'd love to know who they are, because that fucking circus is hilarious. But let's
the Utah hockey team. Apparently, that is the
Indiana
that's the team.
Fever.
Apparently, the Utah hockey team is what won the poll, the fan poll. That's fucking atrocious. Do better. Do better.
Before we go into how terrible the Mets are, let's go on over to the Western Conference, where the Oilers advanced past the Stars in Game 6 with a 2-1 victory. The Oilers have the chance to be the first Canadian team to win the Stanley Cup in 30 years. So can Connor McDavid bring the cup back to Canada and reach legendary status?
If he does, it's not because of him.
Ooh, okay.
So
Leon?
Not even Leon Draisaitl. It's a team effort.
I love how his name's Leon. I think it's hilarious.
Leon Draisaitl. You're looking at guys like, you have Evander Kane on this team, you have Zach Hyman on this team, you have Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, you have more than just McDavid and Draisaitl. As quietly as it's kept, Corey Perry is there. You know, Corey Perry, the guy who he finagled his way out of Chicago at the beginning of the year.
Oh, that guy.
That guy. He's now the only player to ever reach the Stanley Cup with 5 different teams. Congratulations, Corey. We'll see you in New York next year along with Patrick Maroon. So that sounds like a plan.
That's impressive.
It is impressive. It is absolutely impressive. And he's a skilled player. He's still a very skilled player. It's up and down. They're going to have to spread the wealth, because the Panthers are going to try and do what they did to the Rangers. They're going to try and camp out in the offensive zone. They're going to play a tight box around the net. They're not going to let you anywhere near Bobrovsky. And if McDavid starts the shake and bake shit, you're going to get a shoulder from Barkov. You're going to get a shoulder from Tkachuk. They don't care about your reputation. They're going to light you the fuck up.
But McDavid's a big dude. I mean, he's a big dude.
McDavid is a big dude, but so are they. They. This is what we want. This is the immovable force and the unstoppable force and the immovable object, right? We want to see two guys. We want to see that collision. And as I sit here, I believe that Barkov and Tkachuk will run through Connor McDavid. Like, as big as Connor McDavid is, they're gonna be more physical to him. Now the question is, do the refs protect the best player in the league? They did it for years with Gretzky. They did it for years with Crosby. Are they going to, on the biggest stage where he can get his first Stanley Cup, the entire nation of Canada can get the first Stanley Cup in 30 years? Like, are they gonna call it square? That's the question. Because the Panthers, as we know, the Panthers did get away with a lot of headhunting most of the playoffs. They play to the edge. They play with a chip on their shoulder. They play through the whistle, and sometimes their hits are a little aggressive.
They're well coached.
They're well coached.
They're well coached.
Oh,
they're well coached.
They play on the edge. They absolutely play on the edge. Some of those calls, you know, it could have been called boarding, could have been called elbowing, could have been called, you know, wasn't. Are they going to do it for McDavid, though, is the question. I think they will. I think the Panthers are going to have to adjust in Game 1. They'll try and set the tone, but I think that they're going to be living in the penalty box, and they're going to have to realize they can't play that way. They're going to have to play clean, square, in the strike zone, and just keep doing what they're doing. To me, Skinner versus Bobrovsky isn't even a conversation. Officer Bob is better, right? Okay. So, who is going to be the guy, right? Who is going to be the guy deeper down on the Oilers roster that's going to deliver? Because Paul Maurice, his system, he shuts down top guys. That's what they do. And we've seen the depth players of the Panthers deliver in prime time. We saw Verhaeghe. We saw Reinhart. We saw Bennett. We saw fucking Vladimir Tarasenko. Vladimir Tarasenko, ex-Ranger Vladimir Tarasenko, deliver the kill shot. We know he was butthurt because Patrick Kane was brought in. We know this. So I'm sure that felt a little sweet for him to deliver the dagger. I'm sure it did. I gotta say that it's gonna be a tightly contested series. The Panthers will try and shut down the East-West game. McDavid and Draisaitl need to play North-South. They need to, you know, the depth players need to show up. It's hard to deny the Panthers, though. It's really hard to deny the Panthers at this point.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm kind of stuck on this idea that the Panthers are the better team, but the Oilers have two really good scorers and two really good players in Draisaitl and McDavid. So I think it really just comes down to who wants it more: the two of the best players in the league, or the Florida Panthers as a team. You know, we don't want to forget how the Panthers knocked out the Bruins last year. They were an 8 seed. Bruins were a 1 seed. Had broken all the records for one of the best regular seasons ever. They didn't give a fuck. They got all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals. Like, they are. We talked about this before they faced the Rangers. Like, they're ready. This is. It's their time. It's their time. Both them, the Hurricanes, and the Rangers were all building up to this point, and this is the first time, really, that the Oilers are in this position. The first time they're getting to the Stanley Cup. You know, they had been knocking on the door, but we're talking about like 8 or 9 years. This team has, been working on this, and they finally get there. McDavid doesn't come off to me that somebody that's going to shit the bed.
But that's not the thing. That's the thing. They'll make you shit the bed. That's the thing about the Panthers. They will make you.
Right. So we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out just how good you are, Connor McDavid, because you're going up against a team that's tested, that's ready, and that really wants to win that championship.
Yeah, that defense scares me on Edmonton. Between you have Desharnais, you have Ekholm, you have Cody Ceci. Like, I don't know. It gives me pause. It definitely gives me pause. Now, the one saving grace is that Edmonton is a little bit tested on an East-West team. So, they got through the Stars. The Stars definitely pushed them a little bit, and they had to get performances from their depth players. And hopefully Chris Knoblauch kind of gets it out of his system early. And how crazy is that Chris Knoblauch was the coach of the Hartford Wolfpack, the AHL affiliate of the New York Rangers. They released him from his contract to take the interview and take the job with Edmonton this year. And almost immediately, he pays dividends, because Edmonton started off terribly this year. Edmonton was not faring well at all. And that coaching change and that breath of fresh air that Chris Knoblauch brought in, it definitely sparked the team. Well, the moment to be too big for him. Paul Maurice has been here before. Paul Maurice has been this far before. Chris Knoblauch maybe in the AHL. I mean, it's kind of crazy. Your first year as a head coach, and not even a full year, you're in the Stanley Cup fucking Finals. That's crazy. That's absolutely batshit. Now, does the moment get too big for him? Does he tighten up? I don't know. We'll see. But they're going to have to do something extraordinary to beat this Panthers team. And, I think it's doable. Ultimately, I do think it's going to go 6 or 7. Just because, they were able to hold serve both teams going from both series, actually. It was holding serve. And then they delivered the knockout blow. So both teams have demonstrated they can win on the road. And it's going to be an evenly matched series. And ultimately, I have the Panthers edging them. And 6 or 7 games. And Matthew Tkachuk is going to be your Stanley Cup MVP. Right there.
Wow. You're going out there, huh?
Yeah. I think he delivers the goods. I think he wants a little retribution. And the Panthers in general want a little retribution. They were in the finals last year. 2 years ago, they had the President's Trophy. As quietly as it's kept. We talk shit about them, right? Because they dropped the interim from Andrew Brunette. They actually released him from that interim tag, and they didn't hire him. They went in a different direction. They went in the direction of Paul Maurice. And as it turns out, it is benefiting them. But you're absolutely right. The Panthers have been knocking on the door for a long time now. And they've changed their team over. They were the East-West prissy, kind of skill team. Now they're a juggernaut. Like, they'll punch you in the face. You punch them, they spit out the blood. They keep coming. That's what they do. Yeah. So that's an organization that I think that teams need to kind of replicate and emulate at this point in time.
Step outside of your safe area and make a statement without saying much with FCK Clout Lifestyle Apparel. Embrace the colorful chaos and stay emotionally regulated in their hoodies, snapbacks, graphic tees, accessories, and more. Season 3 merch is up now. Get it while you can. Go to fckclout.com and get all of your needs from men and women. That's fckclout.com.
But one thing you don't want to emulate is not showing up for OTAs. Lamar Jackson is in the second year of a 5-year contract worth $260 million, but he was not regularly attending OTAs, which cost him over $750,000 in fines. Coach Harbaugh downplayed the absence by saying the workouts are voluntary, can't really say anything about it. Is Lamar Jackson's absence at OTAs an issue?
He got his money. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Now,
whoa, okay.
If he's trying to parlay this into a new contract, like that's a little bit ridiculous. But at the end of the day, like, we've seen guys skip OTAs. They are optional. And and for a guy like Lamar Jackson, who does get injured frequently, I'm not saying he's injury prone, but he definitely has his fair share of bumps and bruises. If he wants to minimize his bump card, I think that would probably be beneficial to him. You know, the last thing you want is, you know, these little nagging injuries building up now when things aren't really happening. You know, what happens in camp, okay, like things happen in camp. But you don't want to take it, you don't want to start this early having to deal with that stuff. So he has enough chemistry with his receivers already. He's not installing a new offense. That was last year. I think that the Ravens will be fine, and you know they can see him at training camp, and I think they'll be fine. Just you can see what else you have up and down the roster, and maybe you have some players already opening eyes, you know, and you know you can really start to think about maybe the backup position, which is fine because this team, let's be real here, it's pretty much ticketed for the playoffs unless something catastrophic happens. The Baltimore Ravens are pretty well set up. So if Lamar Jackson wants to take an OTA off and he's got the blessing of his coach, like, who are we to say anything of it? So rest up, Lamar. Be ready for us when we need you.
I love the arrogance of the Giant fans saying, well, the Ravens got this locked up. Like they're certainly headed to the playoffs. Just you can just write their names in pen in there. I don't know about all that, man. The AFC is going to be tough this year.
AFC North, look, 3 playoff teams.
Yeah, but that's what makes it tough. Like, it could easily just be 2, just because of a head-to-head you had, or the way another team performed in another division. Like, it's not so clear-cut. It's not so easy in the AFC. In the NFC, yes, the NFC is terrible. The AFC, there's a ton of teams that are good, right? I mean, you got to imagine Cleveland's going to be back, man. Cleveland's going to be back. They went and got Jerry Jeudy. They're going to be a good team.
I'm shaking.
The Bengals are. Joe Burrow is going to be healthy.
Maybe.
Allen in Buffalo lost his best receiver, but people are saying he's going to come back with a vengeance for the MVP.
Who's he throwing the ball to?
I don't know. I guess he's going to do that. Jonathan Taylor's going to be back. Houston Texans look hot. Jaguars are back. Kansas City is going to be back. The Dolphins added your boy. Like, the Jets, I mean, come on, right? The Jets are going to the Super Bowl.
Oh, stop.
Pittsburgh's better. Like, I don't know.
But Pittsburgh is not better than the Ravens. As the Ravens, I find it very interesting that the Ravens fan here all of a sudden has a little trepidation about his team.
All I know is that it's not a good look for you to be the number 1 seed last year, have Kansas City come into your house, beat your ass, and then you don't show up for OTAs as the quarterback of this team who just lost 10 pounds, who who just got his contract that he asked for, that he fought for himself because he doesn't even have an agent. And then you look across the league and you watch the other quarterbacks going to OTAs. Like, if Patrick Mahomes is going, you need to go. You going to go beat him when he's going and you're not there? It's just you haven't earned the right to not go. When you win your championship or championships, then you cannot go. But as the quarterback, as the leader of the team, you want to miss a couple of days? Sure. But you got to be consistent, man. And now the mandatory camp is coming up. Like, you got Derrick Henry there. You got some new players there that are looking to you. You're their leader, and you're not showing up. What kind of message does that send? If the best player on our team is not showing up, who's holding me accountable? I'm just saying, Z, he's not there yet. He's not there yet, and it's a poor tone to set in June. The work that's going on in June and July is what's going to get you to playing in January and February. I'm just saying, it's not like he's an all-world passer who's throwing darts all over the fucking playground. The kid's got accuracy issues. He's not a consistent thrower. He's not Tom Brady. He's not Aaron Rodgers. He's not Patrick Mahomes. Your ass got to be there. Joe Burrow's there. All the other quarterbacks of your division went to camp. Went to OTAs. You didn't. No good. No good.
At the end of the day, it's immaterial. He's a veteran in the league. They didn't really turn over the roster that much. Yeah, they added Derrick Henry. That's about it. Like, he has a relationship with his receivers. It's not like he's breaking in a new receiver. Like, that, if he was, that would be a different story. Right? Last year, he had to break in Odell Beckham, had to get them used to the rhythm and the chemistry. Ultimately, that was a waste of time.
You don't want to get some good rapport with Bateman, who's supposed to be your number one guy? You don't want to get some good reps with him? You don't think that's valuable right now?
Honestly, no, I don't. I think health is more important.
Lie to me. Just lie to me.
I think health is more important. Health is absolutely more important for Lamar Jackson. And if he feels like he cannot be there and not escape with some sort of minor nick or injury,
you think that's what this is about? You think it's about he don't want to get hurt?
Yes.
That's why you think he's not going?
Yes.
Because he don't want to go. Nobody wants to go to camp. Nobody wants to go to do this shit. All football players want to do is play the game. They just want to play the games. They don't want to go to practice. They don't want to go to practice. Look at how much practice has been legislated out of the NFL the last 10 years, last 15 years.
The first 4 weeks of the season are atrocious because of it.
They don't want to practice. That's what this is about. It has nothing to do with him worrying about hurting himself. He don't want to practice. Nobody wants to go running in pads with a helmet and shoulder pads and all the other bullshit in 90-degree weather when 80% of the season's played in cold weather. It's just facts. That's what this is about. It's not about a contract either. It's about he don't want to practice. He don't want to go.
He's no different than anybody else. No different than anybody else.
The other people are going. And they don't want to go and they're going. That's the problem. It's like, how do you expect to beat Joe Burrow if Burrow's there in camp with his team doing timing with he's doing timing with receivers. His top two receivers aren't even in OTAs.
And what is Joe Burrow doing?
Higgins and Chase didn't even go.
Okay, so what is Joe Burrow doing right now? He's putting stress and Jacob Trouba was a leader too on a freaking rebuilt ankle.
The waste of life.
Yeah, So every time that Joe Burrow takes the field, right, you have to be concerned that he is going to not come off that field. Like, that's how it works. Like, you're paid handsomely. You are paid handsomely. You're in an investment. So at the end of the day, if you have to minimize the risk of injury, then you need to minimize the risk of injury because the drop-off is so steep. The drop-off is so steep, and the Bengals felt that last year, did they not? So it's actually penny wise, pound foolish, right? You need to be protecting your investment. So have them come from mandatory camp. Use this time, right? Use this time to flush out the rest of your roster. Like, that is what's going to help you. right now. I find that Lamar Jackson at this point is a given. Like, he's a given for the Ravens.
Does Daniel Jones need to go to camp?
Daniel Jones needs to retire. Daniel Jones needs to leave my organization. Zach Wilson is taking first-team reps in Denver. That's all you need to know about OTAs.
He is.
Zach Wilson is QB1 in Denver.
Fucking great. Sean Payton's like, what the fuck am I doing here?
Come on, man. You tell me about OTAs.
Downfield, Zach. Downfield. Run and throw the ball downfield. Damn it.
To the offense. Zach, to the fucking guys in blue, not white.
You could have spiked those, fucker.
But that proves my point. You're trying. These are the question marks.
Zach, what did we trade you for? A seventh round pick? Gosh damn it! Can we get that back?
Ham sandwich. Ham fucking sandwich. Not even any cheese.
Zach, let me ask you a question. Which team do you play for?
I was just wondering.
Why you? I couldn't figure out why you would throw the 15-yard out when we've got a 7-point lead. He threw an interception, and now they're in scoring position.
Are you crying?
We lost the lead because of you.
Are you crying? Are you crying? There's no crying. There's no crying in football.
Crying in Denver.
No, there's a lot of crying in Denver. That's the problem.
Watch, leave alone, Sean. Oh, you zip it.
You know, look at a penis with a little hat on.
Man, Zach Wilson taking QB1 reps. This kid is like, shit, I didn't know this was going to happen. Ah, man, I thought I was just going to back up here. Oh, I got to play again.
God damn it.
You got to think that at this point, he questions that, right? He's like, shit.
At this point,
like, he's got to play. He's like, shit. Can I just go to a place where I don't play?
Didn't he do that with the Jets? He's like, I don't want to play.
I'm not playing. No, he said, I'm not playing. He's like, I'm not playing anymore.
Well, too fucking bad. We need you to play.
Oh, my head. I have a concussion. I'm out. That's how that went.
Oh my god!
You want me to play? Okay, I've got a concussion. I can't play. I'm not gonna pass the test that the doctor gives me.
Any
Don't
question?
even bother.
Ask me anything.
Ask me anything. I don't care.
Are you in need of air care maintenance or service? I have the company for you. Air Care Technicians. They service the Westchester and Northern Bronx area and can help you with all your heating and cooling, maintenance, and service needs. Just give them a call at 914-315-1547. Again, that's 914-315-1547. Or shoot them an email at aircaretechnicians@gmail.com. These guys are the real deal as they are veteran-owned, licensed, and insured. Make sure to tell them that D&Z sent you.
But speaking about asking anything, so we have the Dallas Mavericks. They're heading to the NBA Finals. Stan Van Gundy thinks that Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic are the best backcourt NBA history. And he's catching quite a bit of flack for this. Is Stan overreacting, or is he onto something?
Well, he's a little bit of a prisoner of the moment, right? Luka and Kyrie are a fantastic backcourt. They're proving as much. But you have to give them more time before you start talking about all time. Last year we were talking about how this was a colossal failure.
Right. And they were only a fifth seed this year.
Yeah, can we let it breathe a little bit? Can we fucking let shit breathe just a little bit? Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars, you ever heard of them? No? Stephen Clay, you ever heard of them?
Stephen Clay for me, yeah.
Yeah, like, come on now.
Yeah.
Come on.
Got 4 titles, 6 finals.
That's,
Stephen Clay is...
It's up there.
Yeah.
I mean,
what else we got?
Michael Jordan pick a point guard.
Ron Harper.
Ron Harper. Yeah.
Ron Harper. He was pretty good.
Yeah.
People downplay the Kobe Bryant Nash combo.
That's pretty good.
It was okay. Walt Frazier, Earl Monroe.
Yes.
I mean, I think one of the most underrated ever is Parker and Ginobili, right?
Tony and Manu. Yeah.
At least 4 titles. I think they got there. So Bob Cousy, Sam Jones.
You have options. You have options. Some more recent than others.
Listen, we talked about. I could say it's probably the best backcourt in the NBA right now. Maybe best scoring.
That's a fair assessment. That's absolutely fair.
Right now, I mean, I could argue that Kyrie is probably the best ball handler in the league, and he's probably the best finisher below the rim, like, laying the ball up. Like, he goes to the basket. I've seen 3 guys trying to block him that are taller than him, and he somehow gets it up and in. So, and then Luka is shooting from the logo, shooting from everywhere. He's a big dude. He's quite the shooter.
Hmm?
But, I think I'm with you, and it needs to give a little time. They haven't accomplished anything. And let's not forget, we were all trashing this trade, right?
Exactly.
We were all dogging it. And then we were also saying how Kyrie is toxic. It just shows you how winning can sometimes skew everything. Like, let's not forget what he did in Brooklyn, what he did in Boston, what he did in Cleveland, what he might do if this doesn't work out. So I don't think it's fair for us to go on and say, well, this is the best backcourt of all time. I want to see them do something.
Has the potential to be.
Has the potential
to be. I agree with you in that sentiment. But, we didn't even mention Magic. Magic played point guard. As we know. So, Magic and anybody. Take your pick. So...
Yeah.
It's completely prisoner of the moment. The same way they could have put Mike Conley and Anthony Edwards. That's a great question. If we were to inject Stan Van Gundy with truth serum and the Minnesota Timberwolves were in the finals, would he make the same statement about Anthony Edwards and Mike Conley? Chances are probably not.
No.
Chances are probably not. It's very prisoner of the moment. And that's a little surprising for a guy who knows as much as Stan Van Gundy does. That seems like a little bit of engagement farming.
I think it would have just been better if you just said this year, we could just talk in the moment. It doesn't have to be all the time. I'm sure it's very impressive to watch live. They're 2 very talented players.
Yeah.
And I think even we questioned on this show how it would work, because both of them require the ball to be effective, and it didn't for a while, right? It took some time for them to build chemistry, but I'm not even sure what their chemistry is. I'm still not sure if they're the best teammates or the best duo together. Their games and their personality are just so different, in my opinion. One's a shooter, the other is a kind of go to the basket. One guy's got incredible handle, other guy's got decent handle, and they don't seem like they hang out in the same place. Kyrie's very out there, Luka's very young, very immature. It's just, I don't know.
Young and immature, but dynamic. You know what? Luka's been playing basketball on the highest level for years now, going back to Real Madrid. So he is.
I was watching some clips where he was playing against Russell Westbrook and giving Russell Westbrook a hard time when he was 17.
Yeah, he still had the baby fat and everything. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So
back then he ran up and down the floor. He was running.
Right. Back before Luka became Luka and doesn't have to do these things anymore. Still the t-shirt though. But I think they very much overwhelm you. When you look at their stat line, they're outscoring by themselves. They're outscoring their opposition.
Yeah.
Now, let's
is that sustainable?
Let's spin this forward. Let's talk about it because they're facing the Celtics. Are they going to be able to do that against Tatum, Brown, maybe Porzingis? Like, I don't think so. Maybe Porzingis.
Do the Celtics need Porzingis to beat Dallas?
Fuck no.
I don't think so either. I don't know why everybody says they do. I don't think they do. All the Boston Celtics really need to do is either need to shut down Luka or shut down Kyrie. And I think Kyrie's going to be catching a lot of heat in Boston.
No,
I mean, if you're coaching the Celtics, what's your defensive game plan for facing Dallas? Are you trying to shut down Luka or are you trying to shut down Kyrie? I don't think you're worried about anybody else, right?
No, absolutely not. Because who's it going to be? PJ Washington, Derek Lively,
we'll live with that, right?
Tim Hardaway Jr. They're going to dress Tim Hardaway Jr.
Right, he doesn't even dress.
He doesn't even dress. So
yeah, because if PJ Washington gets 40, we deserve to lose. Let's see if that happens.
Exactly. And are they going to? I mean, they're not going to employ the same strategy because I mean, who's your big for the Celtics? Al Horford. You're not going to employ the same strategy that you employed against the T-Wolves, where you had Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert. So it's going to be a game of adjustments, and who's going to adjust better, second row Joe or Jason Kidd? Like, I don't know.
Jason Kidd's not a bad coach.
Jason Kidd's a pretty decent coach, and so is second row Joe. Like
second row Joe.
Like he's starting to prove himself a little bit.
It's all about relationships. I'm not a coach. I just like helping people play basketball.
Oh, he's the X. It's not the X's and O's. It's the Jimmies and the Joes. I've heard that one before.
Just helping out, man. Just helping people be the best they could be. That's what he says.
It sounds like the guy that Kyrie should have had in Brooklyn. If they had second row Joe in Brooklyn, that experiment might have worked.
Yeah, I mean, I'm putting Tatum on Luka, and then I'm putting what's his name?
Brown?
No.
Who? Derek White?
No, the point guard. Who's the point guard they
Drew
traded
Holiday?
for? Putting Drew Holiday on Kyrie. What's he gonna get? He's not going to score more than 20 points.
See, I would put Drew Holiday on Luka because I would dare the other guys to beat me. Like, Kyrie can facilitate to other people, and I got to let these scrubbinos try and make the shots.
The problem with that is Luka's a pretty thick dude, and he knows how to use his body, and I don't want Drew to get into foul trouble. And, you know, I want Luka to work extra hard for every basket, and I feel like he'll have to work harder if Tatum's on him or Brown is on him, just because they're taller and they're more athletic.
Would you double Luka at that point? Have Holiday on Kyrie and then double?
No, I'm not doubling anybody. No, I'm not a believer in the double team. I don't double wing players. I double people down low, but not wing players. Yeah. I would live with whatever that outcome is, because all I have to do is keep one of them around 20 points. That's all I have to do, because if the other one goes off for 30, we're still fine. We're still going to win the game.
Right.
I can't have both of them have over 30 points. That's what I need to do. I need to get one of them below 20, and I think I can accomplish that if I set up my matchups that way.
So, if you're Jason Kidd, right, who's going to be your third guy? Because you're going to need three. You're going to need three to beat the Celtics.
It has to be Washington. It has to be him. And I need him to have like a Kawhi-like series where you're distributing the ball, you're scoring the ball, you're playing defense. Like, you've got to do everything. Like, you literally have to be that guy. You have to be that guy that they pay attention to. Because, like I said, my game plan is to let PJ Washington have 40 points. And he needs to go over 40 points. Because once you get 20, 25 and a half, now they got to pay attention to you. Even if they don't want to, they have to.
Right.
You know? You have to show that. We learned a long time ago that you can't just win with two guys. Not in the NBA. You can't. You need three guys. So, you know, even those Lakers teams, yeah, they had Shaq and Kobe, but they had Big Shot Bob, they had Lamar Odom, they had other players that were contributing.
And then eventually Pau Gasol came in, and then you had
Gasol,
your favorite, Pau Gasol.
You want to, and you could talk about even with the Jordan teams, like, yeah, they had Scottie Pippen, but they also had like Ron Harper, Horace Grant, like Steve Kerr. They had other guys Dennis Rodman, like they had other guys, like, you know, so you need that third guy. Kukoc was huge.
Kukoc was huge. Like
we're talking about, go ahead.
Yeah, like the stories about him are friggin' legendary. He would go get pissed drunk at lunch and then just drain threes during the game.
But he would also eat immensely. He'd eat a lot of chicken.
He'd eat a lot of chicken, a lot of wine. So that's that European diet. So we'll see if Luka has any of that in him.
Do you love brownies? Of course you love brownies. But you know what's better than a brownie? A delicious, handcrafted, gourmet brownie delivered right to your doorstep. That's what our guys at Sweet Life Brownie Co. offer. Chef Tommy D and the crew offer a dozen delicious delights that you will crave, from the classic OB to Dutch apple to campfire s'mores and many more. Check out their website, sweetlifebrownieco.com, for their Friday brownie drops. At noon, their site goes live and you see what they're making. Since you're there, become a site member and earn points. You earn 50 points just by signing up. Make sure you follow them on Instagram and Facebook too, at sweetlifebrownie_co, for the latest updates and their latest releases and creations. That's sweetlifebrownieco.com. Give them a call, 845-641-3043, and tell them D&Z sent you. That's sweetlifebrownieco.com, 845-641-3043. Sweet Life Brownie Co., because there's always room for a brownie.
One person that might want to switch over to the European diet is your boy Blake Snell, who appears to be heading to the IL. He left his outing against the Yankees after the fifth inning with tightness in his groin. You know how you feel. Snell does not have any wins and has not pitched more than 5 innings this year. Is Snell going to make a comeback this year, or is this the kind of year he is going to have?
0-3 with a 9.51 ERA.
So you're saying there's a chance?
I'm saying spring training matters. Like, he is the poster child for spring training mattering. So, good job, Blake. How much did you want again? 230 million, something like that? Like, that's something ridiculous. You held out, and then you cut off the nose to spite your face. That being said, could he round into better form? Sure. Absolutely. Can he get that ERA down somewhere near 5? Because at this point, forget 2. Forget 3.
Can he get it down to 5?
Can he get it down to 5? When he gets back, sure. Absolutely. 5 is within the realm of possibilities. Absolutely. But this needs to be a lesson. This offseason needs to be a lesson for players. JD Martinez signed a week before the season started. Jordan Montgomery signed on opening day. JD Martinez is okay. Jordan Montgomery is okay. They will get better as the year goes on. But Blake Snell is not okay. So it's important to note that the work matters for spring training, especially when you're going to a new team. And we were concerned about Blake Snell anyway. Last year, much like Cody Bellinger, was a bounce back year from some mediocre seasons. What was he going to bring? This might be one that you kind of throw away. 0-3, 951. Now, he's playing in San Francisco. San Francisco is kind of hanging around. Like, you know, there'll be some expectations there. Maybe they'll sneak in with a wild card. Maybe they'll be able to do that. But this is one of those seasons you'd like to forget, and the way things are going, it's completely forgettable. So next year, you're going to have to rebuild your value yet again and reprove that you are the guy that they paid rather than this guy, the one who didn't face major league hitters until well within April when they were ready and you were not even close to ready.
Yeah, I don't really know how it's going to go. I think this is a really bad look for him. It's a really bad look for all those Boris guys, right? I don't think he turns it around. I don't think he might get it back down to around 5, but he's not that guy. He's never been that guy that pitches long, right? He doesn't go deep. And so for him to get things around, he's going to have to pitch a lot of innings. I could see this stint on the IL lasting until July, maybe even past the All-Star break. And you know, if you're him, this isn't what you wanted. But like you said, this is what happens when you don't get into camp. Or spring training, you pushed really hard to get the money that you wanted, and now look at you. Now look at where you are. This is going to be a wasted year. You're going to come back and sign for some garbage like Chris Sale did, you know, with the Braves, who's playing very well, thank God. But this is where we're heading for him. He's gonna be a Brave next year.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, let's hope not. But yeah, that's the difference, I think, between like OTAs. There is no OTA for spring training, right? There is no OTA for baseball. Like that's not how this organization works. So
it's not how this shit works.
No, it's a different sport entirely. So it's up to you to keep yourself close to shape, right? That's up to, it's your prerogative.
And it's a big gamble when you're a pitcher, right?
Yeah.
It's a big gamble because your mechanics are everything. You can't get your mechanics together.
Right. And as
find yourself getting Tommy John surgery.
And as a free agent, it's now your own guy, right? It's not the organization setting up a throwing program for you. It's you deciding who you want to work with and what do you want to prioritize. Based on these results, I don't know. Blake Snell was prioritizing his wallet, so that's clear. And Scott Boras certainly was helping him make that decision. But it's something to be said that baseball players are in better shape when they come into camp, but they're not ready to play. Right? In the past, you know, baseball players took jobs in the off season. Like it's a very different kind of culture now than then. Football players have their entire year pretty much mapped out. You're like, I mean, when do football players really have a break? January to like what? Around now? Even then, you got some other things going on. You still have to hit the weight room. You still have to, participate in certain activities. Like, as we've seen in the past, quarterbacks call their receivers, hey, let's run some routes today. We've seen it with Tom Brady all the time. So there are opportunities for football players to stay in rhythm and stay in shape. Outside of going to like the Mexican League or the Dominican Winter League or the Venezuelan League, what are baseball players going to do? Right? They're not going to go play like rec pickup ball. That's not how it works. So it was risky. Snell knew the risk. Boras knew the risk. And ultimately it bit him in the ass. Now, where does it go from here? I mean, Boris has a significant amount of egg on his face. So I wonder where this goes forward, and I wonder if these players are going to start backing off and maybe start to say, Scott, let's just sign a contract. Let's just sign a damn contract and go from there. Like, I'll take another bite of the net. I'll take a shorter contract. I'll hit the free agent market again. I'll get paid again. Let's do the Kirk Cousins strategy. Let's do that. Prove my worth and then get paid even more. Couldn't hurt.
Avoid messy accidents. Get better stopping power with your brake pads. Callahan brake pads. You never know when you'll be driving in the road and there will be a truck tire that you need to avoid and save your family. Callahan Auto. We really care about what's under your hood.
The choice is yours. Swipe left or swipe right.
All right, boys and girls, particularly my online dating fans, we have a statement and we either swipe left or we swipe right. Swipe left or swipe right on Justin Jefferson being the highest paid non-quarterback in professional football.
Oh man, I guess it's tough. It's the only thing they have right now. So I mean, I guess you swipe right on it, but if I'm looking at this, I mean, his numbers are impressive. In the 4-year span, he's got more yards, more receptions than Randy Moss. He's lacking in the touchdown department, but that's because Randy was a freak. But you don't have anybody to throw him the ball. You're likely third or fourth in that division.
Yeah.
You don't have a running game. You've got a decent coach, but I would not be surprised if this guy is traded within 2 years.
He was in Florham Park a couple of weeks ago. I'm just saying.
Oh, Jesus.
I gotta swipe left on that. He's a good receiver.
I mean, you get what they had. They had to do it.
Yeah, of course they had to do it.
They had to do it. They had to do it, but you don't have anything. You don't have anything outside this guy.
No, and Sam Darnold is your quarterback, so you really don't have much of anything. So you gotta swipe left. It's a product of the situation, but at the same time, you're resetting the market, right? Somebody else is going to come along who is going to want more money. Chase,
right.
Higgins, like who's going to get more, right? Who, Nico Collins maybe eventually. Who knows if he keeps playing well?
I mean, I think that both of us would agree the highest paid wide receiver should be Tyreek Hill, right?
It should be Tyreek Hill.
Adams, right?
It should be Tyreek
Hill. Two
Hill.
guys that I would say are the best at their craft. Yeah. Jefferson missed a lot of time.
A few years ago, I would have argued DeAndre Hopkins would be in that conversation. Not so much anymore.
Look where he is now. It's like...
Yeah, not so much anymore. I would have banked on him.
Lamb.
CeeDee Lamb.
CeeDee Lamb is probably the next guy to get paid, right?
Yeah. But is he so good that he's going to reset the market? That's the thing about these contracts. It doesn't matter if you're good. It doesn't matter if you're good.
No.
I mean, think about it. I know we keep bringing up this conversation, but it went from highest paid quarterback, went from Matt Ryan to Matthew Stafford to Joe Flacco. Or not necessarily in that order.
One of them had a championship.
Right.
At the time.
Only one.
And he wasn't the reason why they won.
Exactly. Precisely. Stafford didn't get his till he went to the Rams. But you're resetting the position with mediocrity each time. And, fortunately for skill position, they prove themselves on a regular basis. But CeeDee Lamb's not the guy. He's good. He's good. I think Jefferson's better. I think Tyreek Hill is better. DK Metcalf might be better. I think DK Metcalf and CeeDee Lamb, now you have an interesting conversation. Right? Ayuk, he's in that conversation. Debo, like now you're starting to kind of, okay, now you're thinking. Now we're thinking. But, I don't know. I find that Jefferson is, yeah, he's good. He's not worth that money. But then again, no one is. Swipe left or swipe right, number 2. Jacob Trouba as the captain of the New York Rangers.
I'm down on this guy. Especially after, I mean, we don't know about the story, yellow journalism, but I really didn't like the way he played in this series. I mean, it's just he doesn't embody what I want in my captain. So I'm swiping left.
I'm swiping left as well. He's not the emotional leader of your team. He may be like the enforcer of your team. Like he might be the guy that, will deliver the message. Kind of like the Yankees. When Jeter was the captain, Posada would send the message because Posada was the one who had the fiery personality. Jeter is the guy who led by example. And as far as leading by example, I gotta say, like Vincent Trocheck really impressed me in terms of his leadership ability. How he was the first guy to console Igor Shesterkin after the loss. Not the captain. Vincent Trocheck was. So it's understanding, it's having the pulse of your team. It's understanding that you need this guy moving forward and you need to keep him in a positive headspace because next year starts now. Work for next year. The mental game of it starts now. So I like what I saw from Trocheck. Trouba talks a big game. He talked a big game about leaving some teeth on the ice. Nothing there. Now, the reports about the ankle, maybe not true. SNY has deleted the tweet. So, I'm starting to lean on the side of it not being true, and SNY has not had a great week. So, overall, I gotta say, like, swipe left on Trouba. It should have been, I was in the Zibanejad for captain boat. I was in that camp.
Ew.
And that's not really looking great either.
Ew.
Yeah.
Ew.
So before Trouba got it, I was very much in the Mika for captain, but I really like the leadership and the willingness to take accountability and being in front of the media that Vincent Trocheck showed. So if they were to buy out Trouba and they were looking for a new captain, I would go Trocheck or and a stretch Kreider. Kreider maybe, but Trocheck definitely in terms of being able to rally troops and lead men. Trocheck really showed me something there. Swipe left or swipe right on Darren Waller. I couldn't even say it. I'm sorry. I couldn't even say it.
Oh my God. So if anybody doesn't know, he seems to be going through a divorce with his wife who is in the WNBA.
Kelsey Plum.
And rather than attend Giants OTAs this week, he's released a music video, detailing his breakup with his wife. And now he's talking about retiring. And this guy, I believe, was traded from the Raiders to the Giants. And I'm just swiping left on this one.
So the team went from Oakland to Vegas, right? You figure this would be a good thing. He gets to be with his wife because she plays for the Aces.
Champion.
Right? Kelsey Plum is a champion. Yes, absolutely.
Champion.
So Darren Waller was on the Raiders. He went to Las Vegas as part of the move. They're like, this is great. I'm going to spend a lot of time with my wife. lo and behold, that didn't even last a year. You got traded to the Giants, and now you're divorced. So, crazy how things go. But this seems very like, oh my god, the rapping. It's just terrible. I'm not the biggest fan of rap. I mean, I did listen to Houdini that M just dropped Houdini this weekend, and it's good. It's like all of his other like Slim Shady songs. It's got a beat and you can dance to it, apparently. Steve Miller Band. It's a sample from Steve Miller Band. But it's just it's auto-tuned, and it's like you expect him to start crying. You really just like he's going through some stuff right now, and I don't know if he should be airing it in public. Like it's uncomfortable, for the lack of a better term. It is extremely uncomfortable, and if this is helping him get through his divorce, good for you. I don't necessarily know if you should be doing this for public consumption. I don't know if you should be airing this dirty laundry, or I don't know if you should be airing your, private feelings. But that's up to you as an individual. But I mean, from quality standpoint, it's kind of And if he's gonna retire, he didn't do much for the Giants last year. If we're gonna talk, as in football terms, Darren Waller was not a major factor. He was not the guy that the Giants thought he was gonna be. So, if he's not gonna be the guy that the Giants thought he was gonna be, then you might as well just ride off into the sunset, man. And if you're gonna pursue rap as a career, then by all means do so. Just make that decision quickly, please, because the Giants need to know whether or not they can count on you. And if not, then Daniel Bellinger can move in and get the first team reps at tight end. But it's just it's fascinating in all the wrong reasons. Swipe left.
Your favorite podcast has its own merch line now. Go to the Fade Store with DNZ.com today for all your Fade Route merch needs. I'm talking tank tops, t-shirts, sweatshirts, like yoga pants, we got those too. Like some cool accessories, we got those too. And we're not done yet. We have so much more planned for you, but check out what we have today at the Fade Store with DNZ.com. That's the Fade Store with DNZ.com.
The Fade Store presents the Alleged Superstar of the Week Award. Alright, boys and girls, you know what time it is. It's time for the Alleged Superstar of the Week. You know how it goes. We put a poll on our X account and our Instagram poll. So at FadeRouteDNZ and at FadeRoute Podcast, respectively. And you vote, and you vote, and you vote. And the winner of said vote gets a shout out on this here show and takes home the coveted ass trophy. And do you know who took home the coveted ass trophy last week, D?
I don't.
Rob Manfred.
My man.
Just plopping those new statistics in out of nowhere, no warning. Boom. We have a new batting average leader. Like, all time. It's just like, here, you didn't say you want it? Too bad. You got it. Right here you go. Have a nice day. Oh, Rob. That was last week. This is this week. Who are your nominees for Alleged Superstar of the Week, D?
I mean, he can be easily added again for MLB closing their investigation on Shohei Ohtani. But I'm just going to start there. My whole thing is Major League Baseball. I want to put Rob Manfred, anybody's name on it. you want to put writers, anybody you want to put it, they're officially closing their investigation on the Ohtani and interpreter gambling scandal. And just blatantly, guys, shame on everyone. Everyone. And if anybody would be surprised that if 10, 15, 20 years from now, we get the real truth about this, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. Major League Baseball, you are my alleged superstar of the week. Number 2, LeBron James said he is mad about no longer playing with Kyrie Irving. Just stop. Just stop. Stop. There are multiple times you could have played with him and you decided not to. That's just nonsense. I don't want to hear it. Garbage. LeBron James, you are my alleged superstar of the week. And last but not least, Lamar Jackson not showing up to voluntary OTAs. Bad look for a star quarterback making the money he's making with nothing to show for it. Lamar Jackson, you are my alleged superstar of the week. What do you got, Z?
All great choices. We got to start with the Rangers, though. President's Trophy curse is real. The President's Trophy curse is real. So maybe next year, pump the brakes on all those wins. Get a better draw. Went out 4-2 to the Florida Panthers, who proved to be the better team. A lot of questions, not a lot of answers right now. Ranger fans are angry, irrational even. Some are ready and hopeful for next year. But bottom line is this. You had the opportunity in your building to take the lead. It was a pivotal Game 5, and you couldn't seal the deal. That's on you. Your power play didn't show up. Credit to the Panthers, but you gotta fight through. You have to adjust. That's a failure on coaching. That's a failure on talent. You have to be able to make something out of nothing. The Panthers seem to do that a lot. The Panthers seem to make chicken salad out of a lot of chicken shit. The Carter Verhaeghe thing was just a fluke bounce off of Ryan Lindgren, and then it's in the back of the net. Puck luck is real. The President's Trophy curse is real. New York Rangers, you are my alleged superstar of the week. Number 2, Takupita Marcano. Who?
That guy.
Who? It's not some Middle Eastern Mexican fusion restaurant. He is a former player for the Pittsburgh Pirates who was banned from baseball for life for gambling on baseball. While he was on the IL, he bet on the Pirates, and then he proceeded to lose all of his bets. Which is worse?
4% of his bets.
Which is worse, getting banned from baseball for life, or losing all of your bets that led you to get banned from baseball for life? It's like, dude, you were a shitty baseball player. Now you're a shitty gambler too. Like, now what are you going to do with yourself? I don't know what to say about that. I mean, they couldn't do it to Ohtani, so I guess they had to make an example of Takupita Marcano. It's just fun to say. Takupita Marcano. You are my alleged superstar of the week. And then last but not least, the media. In particular.
Gotta get a Marcano jersey.
Oh, before they're gone. Before they might be gone already. Maybe you can get them on clearance. We'll see. The media. Particularly SNY. For the Jorge Lopez incident. After Lopez got tossed, went nuts, threw his glove into the stands. That was bad enough. Like, that was bad enough. After the game, Steve Gelbs goes to Lopez, who is not a native speaker of English. Spanish is his first language. No interpreters provided for the Mets. So, okay. Is what it is. And then the questioning, the line of questioning is what led to Lopez saying, now, it depends on who you ask. Lopez says he's the worst fucking teammate in the league, which he's not anymore because he got DFA'd. But what it sounded like was, we're the worst fucking team in the whole MLB. You ain't wrong, buddy. At the time, you were not wrong. At the time, you weren't wrong. So the next day, Carlos Mendoza had a press conference, talking about the DFA. Like, we have standards here. Since when? Since when do the Mets have standards? This is news to me. I've been a Met fan for close to 20 years. This is news to me. The Mets have standards. Wow. It's awesome. Good for you, Carlos. But this was exacerbated by SNY. This was exacerbated by the media. Maybe a different follow-up question. Maybe not interviewing him immediately after he went nuclear and chucked his glove into the stands. I mean, yes, the Yes Network skipped an interview with Scott Proctor after Scott Proctor lit his glove on fire. So, maybe you kind of give him some time to cool off. And then today you have the Jacob Trouba report where they alleged he had been playing with a broken ankle. That tweet has been taken down. So, SNY, no good, very bad couple days. And I'm going to throw it on here. The media's coverage of Caitlin Clark and the tribalism that is occurring because of it. Caitlin Clark got fouled in a very hard and aggressive fashion against the Chicago Sky. The player went to the Chicago Sky bench. Everybody was all up in arms, all whooping, hooting, hollering, all pumped up. Caitlin Clark got no help from her teammates. And then it snowballed into this tribalism of, are there so many Caitlin Clark haters, or is this just, welcome to the WNBA, where it doesn't matter who you are, you're going to get the lumber. And it's very interesting to see where the dividing line is. Basketball in particular, Tony and Mike said it best. I'm not going to try and, restate it. It's based on race. First and foremost, it's based on race. And it feels like certain lines are being drawn in the media. And it's kind of clouding all of it. And it's tarnishing what the WNBA is all about. Yes, Caitlin Clark, we get it. She's the golden goose. I understand that. I think everybody in the league understands that, and a lot of people resent it. So, maybe, again, pump the brakes on some of this. Pump the brakes just a wee bit, and things won't be as drastic as they are. So, media, you are my alleged superstar of the week. I think we said our piece. Go to our X account at FadeRouteDNZ, or go to our Instagram poll at FadeRoutePodcast and vote, and vote, and vote, and vote, and for our nominees. Just do better, boys. Just do better.
This has been the Fade Route with DNZ. Thanks for tuning in. Catch our podcast on Wednesday nights on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. So until next time, stay faded, everyone.
Time for us to run the go route. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks for listening to this episode of our podcast. If you like what you heard and want to hear more, be sure to like and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Rate us 5 stars, leave us a review, turn on subscription notifications, and tell your friends. Spread the word, spread it wide.